Pinhead, the Hell Priest himself, and Leviathan's favourite Cenobite, the most revered and iconic of all of Hell's servants. There are differences from the novel to the films. However, Clive Barker, when revisiting the universe he created and writing the Scarlet Gospels, retconned some of what the Hellbound Heart had initially set up, so that it was more in line with what the movie universe had explored initially. In the Hellbound Heart, Pinhead actually had no clear gender. We know this from the following extract. Its voice, unlike that of its companion, was light and breathy. The voice of an excited girl. Every inch of its head had been tattooed with an intricate grid, and at every intersection of horizontal and vertical axis, a jeweled pin driven through to the bone. Its tongue was similarly decorated. Not only that, but Pinhead was not the leader of the Cenobite gash. No, the being was in fact in tow with the other Cenobites, under the command of the lead Cenobite. This was later adjusted after the success of the movies and the figure of Pinhead becoming so iconic in horror. In the Scarlet Gospels, we are introduced to the Hell Priest, Pinhead. His flesh was virtually white. His hairless head ritualistically scarred with deep grooves that ran both horizontally and vertically, at every intersection of which a nail had been hammered through the bloodless flesh and into the bone. Clive Barker, who did not like the fan-made name Pinhead, when he revisited his world in the Scarlet Gospels, simply referred to the Cenobite as the Hell Priest. This was his official title in Hell. There is even a few instances when the character reacts extremely violently when called Pinhead. This is of course a way of Clive Barker enforcing his disdain for the term onto the reader. Now, although Clive Barker revisited the character and the world he created, it's important to note that Barker himself does not endorse every movie. Most quotes and further works on comics seem to confirm that Clive only actively endorses at least the first 3 movies, and nothing else from then on in the cinematic entries. The movie version of Pinhead was revealed to have once been a captain in the British Expeditionary Forces, Elliot Spencer. His post-traumatic stress taking a grip and the suffering which resulted from it drove Elliot Spencer to denounce God and his entire faith in humanity. He wandered the earth, living for base pleasures, hedonistic and carnal, which would ultimately lead Elliot to begin exploring for further pleasures and finding the lament configuration. He indulged in pleasures of the flesh and the pain and suffering that comes from it. Elliot was no more at that point. The Leviathan drove razors through his flesh, slicing a grid of deep cuts, and upon each cross-section a nail was placed, hammered into his skull. Hooks were driven through his flesh, which would most likely become the inspiration for Pinhead's preferred weapon. And the Cenobite that Elliot had now become, clad in leathers, like the unholy priest he was, took charge of the Leviathan's wishes, exacting Hell's demands and continued war of the flesh of humanity. Pinhead would become the leader of a group of Cenobites, or Gash, through his years bringing those to the Leviathan and allowing those unlucky enough to summon him the experience of pain and pleasure. He became the favourite of Hell. Of all the armies of the deep, Pinhead, the Hell Priest, was the voice of order and Leviathan itself in some cases. Pinhead and his Cenobites have even encountered the Nightbreed, residents of Hell. They had begun causing trouble. However, at this point in time, Leviathan's power was in question, and despite ordering no attacks, a group of Cenobites hunted some of the Nightbreed down and killed them. This caused Leviathan to order Pinhead and Chatterer, 2 of Hell's favourites, to track down these traitors and kill them. Pinhead and Chatterer executed numerous Cenobites, and in doing so, rumours of Pinhead having to kill his longtime friend and fellow Cenobite Gehenna surfaced and struck fear in Hell for the ruthless, merciless nature of the execution. In the Scarlet Gospels, we see perhaps the most evil incarnation of the Hell Priest, Pinhead. This is, however, going into spoiler territory for something of a newish book and perhaps unknown to many, so please read the Scarlet Gospels. Pinhead to me was always one of the most iconic characters in horror. Yes, they have butchered him beyond belief in the most recent incarnations. However, at its base level, and especially his initial appearances, this is a creature that is truly terrifying. Doug Bradley did a truly incredible job of portraying the character, with such deep gravitas and a quiet composure that instantly created a legendary movie monster of sorts. So this does conclude my rundown of all the core Cenobites. No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering. So let me know your thoughts on Pinhead down below in the comments section, and if you want to see more Hellraiser related videos, then hit that subscribe button to stay notified of all my future content. If you did enjoy this video, then please consider leaving it a like, as it does help my channel out. I've been Mr. H, and until next time, I'll catch you in the comment section.